So, guys, welcome to episode 2 of the League One review. I'm joined by special guest, Punk Chef 41, Sheffield Wednesday. It's going to be a very tough little chat about the game yesterday. But as you can see, scrolling across the bottom of the screen are yesterday's results. We'll obviously start with the big one, Sheffield Wednesday versus Doncaster Rovers. We'll have a quick chat about that, what our thoughts were on the game, how we thought it went. Guys, if you're watching, in the comments, in the chat, let us know what you thought if you were at the game as well, and we'll try and get through as many comments today as we can. And then once that's done, we go around the grounds, check up on the rest of League One, and then the bit that I don't really want to do is look at the table to finish off, because it's not good reading for Doncaster Rovers fans.
Too early to look at the table. Come on.
Yeah, 10 games it'll start to settle, but it's nice to see where it's not nice to see where we are at the minute. So welcome to the stream, Jake. How did you find yesterday's game?
It was a tight one. I don't think either team really took the chances or even kept the ball well. It was only until that second half. I think first half we outmatched each other, i.e. we couldn't keep the ball. Yeah. You couldn't keep the ball. We couldn't keep the ball. Every time there was a little bit of mistake, we were sitting way too deep, which was helping you get forward. But then when we were getting forward ourselves, our final third, just getting across or anything, wasn't great. And it needed to improve. And you could tell both sets of teams didn't have a striker on the pitch.
I agree with that. I will just stick the stats up from the game. Fairly even, like you say. I think we matched each other for the majority of it, especially up to around 70 minutes. And then we had kind of that 5-minute spell where Doncaster just decided to implode. Barry Bannon, a superb strike. And
that second half was, for us, was all about our substitutions. It changed the game. By a first touch, I think that was about his first touch, gets it to Bannon, and you don't stop them. And It wasn't even like it was the Thunder Chuffer where he just levelled it. He stopped it dead with his foot and just placed that top corner.
Yeah, he's placed it. He's literally done what a world-class striker would do. It's like you say, he stopped it dead. He's picked his spot and he's just caressed it into that top corner, and nothing any keeper's going to do. So,
I think, much as it will have probably pained you, I bet it was nice to hear fans just cheering a goal, even if it was against you.
No, it wasn't. It was horrible.
That's the loudest we've been in a long time. And then again, 24,000 there. And a lot of teams are probably not going to know how to handle that in League One.
No, it's a very good crowd. I mean, Sunderland should be used to that kind of crowd, Ipswich, but other than that, I
thought our second goal was very lucky, because your keeper, I don't know what he was doing. He was in no man land.
I think he's tried to get a touch on the cross, and he's just parried it into Adeniran's path, and he's done his best to miss it, hasn't he? He's hit the post, but
to be fair, he didn't get a good touch on it. I thought it was a very poor touch going forward. But talking of like incidents, penalty or not a penalty for you after seeing it?
Soft.
I can't see where the offence is. The only one I can think it was Hutch pulling the shirt.
No, it was handball. From behind the goal, he's kind of opened his body up a little bit and it struck his hand from the shot, but it's very close. So for me, it's a soft penalty.
Wasn't a great penalty take either.
No, we'll not say too much about the penalty, because it wasn't very good, was it?
Now, to be fair, in all seriousness, it was a very good game. The atmosphere was great. Both sets of fans treated each other well. And it's one of those things where we were talking before the stream. It's not really a derby. A lot of people kept calling it a derby. This ain't a derby for me. I don't think it's a derby for you. And the thing is, I saw some comments on my one saying, we played a little bit dirty. I don't think either team did. There were some tackles that the referee did let go a bit, but I think they're trying to let the game flow a bit more this season, from what I've seen from a couple of games already. But when, she got a point there. You got a very good point.
Honestly, Bannon is a cheat code for League One. It's not fair. It's completely unfair that Barry Bannon is in League One.
Bannon should have scored last week against Charlton, and it was on his wrong foot.
That was a great run as well.
Yeah. The thing is,
absolute cheat code for League One, Barry Bannon.
Midfield is insane.
Yeah. Carlo Chard mentioned the solid defence. That's something that I wanted to ask you about, because I was talking to some Wednesday fans before the game, and they were pretty confident that we weren't going to concede, and we didn't in the 90 minutes. You weren't going to concede, sorry. We weren't going to score. And we just couldn't break it down. And I think it is a very solid defence. Darren Moore, ex-defender, very good defender back in the day. And I think when he were at Rovers, he kind of solidifies that back line first, and then looks at kind of expressing further up the pitch. And I think maybe Sheffield Wednesday are lucky that they've already got that key link pin in Barry Bannon that can expose League One teams. But yeah, that defence looked very, very solid yesterday. What's your thoughts on that?
It's when you look at our defence last season, it needed a lot of work. Losing West was huge for us, but I think getting Bailey Peacock-Farrell in is a fantastic. I don't know how Darren Moore's turn around and say, come to Wednesday, but he has. And this is the thing we all keep saying. Darren Moore managed to pull another player in. How was he convinced him to play in League One? And that back four is just solid. Hutch and Iorfa in the middle, Hunt and Palmer either side, and then Peacock-Farrell just commanding. But he's not scared to kind of shout at them, but they don't need it. They don't need it at all. They already know what they're doing. And when you look at our midfield already, and it's solid, and this is before you put Joe Byers in, you got Lewis Wing in there and Barry Bannon. That's just an insane setup in itself. It's all we're missing right now is a proven goal, which I think we got in Lee Gregory and this new lad.
I'll put that one back up for you if you want a goal scorer then.
Yeah, now you can keep him. But I think that's all we're missing now. But the thing is, we've got Windass to come back. And if Windass gets into the form he was in the Championship, we could be scarily good. And I'm optimistic, but I'm not going too far. But if this team gels and gel well, we could be scarily good with how more building at the minute.
Yeah,
I want to ask you about Rovers. So where is letting you down in terms? Is it your defence or is it just all over the park?
I'd say depth at the minute. So I think if we had a fully fit first 11, we'd be okay. We're missing Huula, Okunabiri and Taylor, who are a strong front three. And that leaves us with Barlow, Chakur and Bogle. Bogle and Chakur just didn't do enough for me yesterday. Thiago Chakur had a very good chance in the first half where he's beat the offside trap and just I think he's stretching for it a little bit, but I think with a little bit more anticipation, he might have been able to have that extra step and potentially get a touch in and get the shot off. But yeah, I think we're lacking up front and just kind of recruits in and around the midfield as well. I mean, the midfield, Bostock looked really good yesterday. The new guy, Galbraith from Man United, looked pretty accomplished on the ball for his debut, senior debut at that. And Ben Close looks good as well. So I think it'll come, it'll click. It's just we need to be patient with it. I think I had similar thoughts to Wednesday. I thought you guys might have taken a few weeks to kind of get into the swing of things, and luckily for you guys, you have gelled pretty quickly, and Darren Moore's philosophy is clearly kind of passing on pretty quickly. So I thought we'd hit you at the right time, and I was kind of expecting a draw, potentially sneaking a win. But yeah, that last 20 minutes with Bannon and kind of Byers on.
It's just that little bit of class, which Ian Holloway said it very well last night on Quest. He shouldn't be in League One.
No, he shouldn't.
He's just, like you said, he's a cheat code for Wednesday. But then you put in that midfield with Byers, you put in Adiran, and then all the other players that are working well. I thought Marvin Johnson had a good first half. I thought Green looked okay, but the problem with Green, he'd been out injured a lot, and then when we got him, he had enough games. If we can get the Green who was at Villa, then that'll be scary good as well. And I thought looking at what we've done business-wise, considering we've not been able to pay any money for players, and at one point we were looking like a very, very, very low squad depth team, we've done some cracking business. And if these can gel quickly, and it looks like they are doing, and we can do that rotation with week Saturday, Tuesday, and we don't pick any long-term injuries,
Yeah.
it's going to be a good season for us. I think the only thing that worries me is if we do pick up a load of injuries, that could kill us a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're kind of struggling with COVID and injuries. So it's going to be one of those seasons where squad depth is going to be massive. But unfortunately for us, we've not got that squad depth.
It's in terms of what the game was, I thought it flowed well for both teams, and it didn't feel like our first game against Charlton, where it felt like still a bit of a pre-season. You could tell the only thing I want Wednesday to do now is do what we did in the second half, more from the front foot, because for the first 9 minutes, we're all over you. You couldn't get the ball, and we were doing what we did all of the second half. And then we suddenly reverted back to the old Wednesday way, sitting a bit deep, going forward. And the quote from Moore was very interesting with what he said about just saying, go for them.
I think if we'd have had a striker and a winger, potentially that first half we could have been one up. It may have been a different story. The penalty going in at the end, that could have
made it a very, very good end, especially with 6 minutes.
Yeah, 6 minutes. I'm not sure where he got 6 minutes from.
No idea.
That seemed a bit too much for me, but I'd have taken it if we'd have turned it around, definitely.
It's when that 6 minutes went up. What from speaking to me last season, how we were bad in games after about the 80th minute, we'd just drop off. And when that penalty went, I think every single Wednesday fan went, "Oh, not again!
Here we go again.
We're not going to do this again." So we're all having PTSD from last season. But under Moore, there's a philosophy and there's a structure, and every time we sign a new player, it's literally I wasn't sure about. I spoke to the gaffer, and then he convinced me to come, and then that's it. And everywhere I spoke to people about Darren Moore, if it's West Brom, if it's Donny, if it's before that, as all said, that's what he does.
Yeah,
he's a man manager. He'll put an arm around shoulder, but he'll give him a bollock if they need it.
Yeah, I think the good thing about that is we've got a very different manager in Richie Wellens now, where he's quite happy to come out into the press conferences and kind of put a player in the limelight for not doing enough, but he's also equally as quick to praise a player if he has done what he's asked for. I think with Darren Moore, what you get is kind of a very similar press conference. Doesn't really give a lot away in front of the media, but then potentially behind closed doors, does he actually say what he thinks to the players? I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
But looking at the stats for our game, it pretty much reflects what we've said about it. A very even game. I think the class of Barry Bannon was the difference in this one.
Yep, I think that's going to be. I think I'm going to hear that a lot this season from some fans.
Definitely, absolute cheat code. So we're about 15 minutes into the stream. We'll start to go around the grounds, starting with Plymouth Argyle against Gillingham. That finished 1-0 to Plymouth. It took till the 88th minute, and it was a great little finish. I don't know if you've seen it on there.
Very good finish.
Yeah, from right foot finish, curling from the corner of the box around the goalie. So Jeff Cott on the score sheet there, getting Plymouth 3 points. And looking at the stats, Plymouth have absolutely bossed it.
Yeah.
More possession, plenty of shots, but that shot conversion in terms of shots at goal and shots on target, that'll be something that they're wanting to improve, because
probably a very weird week for Plymouth as well as a place kind of thing. So
yeah, definitely. So
you can understand if things might not have been properly there. And I know it sounds weird saying that players shouldn't do it, but if that's where you live and something major like that's happening, it's going to affect a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. As a community, it's gonna impact everybody, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, thoughts to everybody at Plymouth. Obviously, horrible thing to go through.
He's going to be the difference again, Luke Jeffcott again. I think.
Yeah.
For them.
Yeah, very, very good player.
I think if he has a good season up to January, they could have people knocking on door.
Yeah, and then that's one of those things where when a good player leaves, is it going to be a little bit like what Doncaster did last season, where one of the better players leaves, like Ben Whiteman, and you start to drop like a stone? I mean, I had Plymouth with their defensive frailties last season. I've got them kind of teetering around the bottom four. So a player like Jeff Cott is needed to kind of get those goals and get those points on the board, because that's a good win early on for them. Gillingham, difficult team to get past with Steve Evans, and that's not just because of his size. It does set them up very well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gillingham fans, if anybody's watching. On to Pompey against Crewe. I've got Crewe as a team who could potentially struggle this season. Ex-Doncaster Rovers player John Marquis, what we'd give to have him back. We are in desperate need of a striker. A lot of people slag him off, or used to slag him off when he was in a Rovers shirt. I thought his work rate was second to none. But yeah, he got some hammer when he was at Rovers. But a lot of us are wanting him back now. Great finish from him across the keeper.
Crewe didn't really put much up for that game, really.
No, definitely not. I think the second goal should have been dealt with from the keeper. It was a little bit messy for me.
Evans really, weren't they, at the back? They were all over the place.
Yeah.
And the key to League One is getting a good defence. You can get a good defence and then use golden. Yeah,
definitely. A couple of half chances for Crewe, but like you say, didn't really put up too much of a fight against a very good Pompey team who should be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. We've got them later on in August, so we've got a very tough August. We've got Accrington Stanley, who are a bit of a bogey team for us on Tuesday. Rotherham, Portsmouth.
We've got Rotherham, Fleetwood, and I think we've got Accrington Stanley, if I think correctly.
Similar August to us, but we like I say, Accrington bogey team for us, and then we've got Pompey when you're playing Rotherham, and then Rotherham the week after. So I'd be surprised if we've got a point come the end of this season, end of this month.
Morecambe after the Rotherham game, so that could be a tough one because they started well.
Yeah, they have started very, very well, and that leads us nicely on to Morecambe. It's like we
planned that.
Dogs barking. So led nicely on to Morecambe. 2-0 win at home to Shrewsbury. Newly promoted Morecambe, and I think, like you say, they've started very, very well.
Good go. They're not scared of anyone. They really just go in at what they did in League Two and just making it work. And if they can do what they did in League Two up here, they'll be a force.
Yeah, definitely. I think the penalty was... There's so many penalties this weekend, and every single one of them was just kind of like a lack of concentration or just a very clumsy challenge by either the keeper or a defender.
You can tell it was second game of the season.
Yeah, some very rusty defending going on. I don't think there was really a penalty that I'd say was not a penalty. Ours against you guys was soft, but other ones, for me, they're all penalties.
Yeah.
So yeah, fairly even game across the stats in this one. Penalty very clumsy, but as you say, Morecambe not scared of anybody, quite happy to go at teams in League One. And when you do that at this level, you're going to come out with more positive results than negative, in my opinion.
Yeah, Shrewsbury really need to work on their shooting. There's so many wayward shots, and getting a striker at this point is just so hard because everyone wants one. And at the minute, I think a lot of business for any Premiership strikers are going to come right near the end of the window when people have got other things sorted.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought this was a great game.
Yeah, Nappers' vlog kind of captured it very, very well.
He did.
He's not a happy chap. Got in touch with us on one of the WhatsApp groups, didn't he? And wanting Grayson out, poor lad. So we'll see how that goes. But Danny Andrew, another ex-Rovers player, we know what he's got in his locker from free kicks, and it was an absolute worldie into the top corner. Beautiful free kick into the corner. But then they just kind of sat back. They did what Grayson teams do, and
Grayson teams
ended up letting the lead slip.
They try to sit back, but they're never built for being sat back.
No.
Grayson's one of those managers who I feel like have been found out so many times now and keep getting a job, and I don't know how he keeps getting a job because his teams are completely the same every season. But you look at Lincoln City, they're going to be wanting to do what they did last year, but one better. and they are a team to look out for because they look solid. They're not really changed much from last season, from what I can see. They're adding a little bit of a decent little fine and getting a decent keeper in as well. I think if they can start getting clean sheets and getting wins, they will be a quality team because Michael Harper didn't know what he's doing at this league. He was unlucky last season, and he's already got the players there to do it. So I think if they can get properly going, and to be fair, that penalty at the end, very clumsy.
So clumsy.
Not wrong there.
Yeah, Scully's first goal, fantastic equaliser from a tight angle, and he's curled it around the keeper. Just couldn't quite get to it into the top corner. But yeah, the high flyer hit the nail on the head. Grayson is the Allardyce of League One. He's just always around, isn't he?
Yep.
But yeah, Lincoln, another team that I've got tipped for a positive season or a good season in League One. Like you say, they'll be wanting to go one step further than what they did last season. On to Mkdon Sunderland. So Mkdon's one of those teams as well who've recruited well.
They absolutely bought this game. Yeah. They look quality, but Sunderland have got some never die attitude this year already.
Definitely.
And I think of the club and the supporter base, they're saying this has got to be the year they do it because of how many big teams there are.
Yeah, it's such a competitive league, isn't it? There's so many, there's so many big teams. I've never
seen a League One where there are so many teams and you can't predict it. You cannot predict who goes up this year because there's so many teams from yesteryear in there. It's like they've all gone to a reunion party and just met up in the same league. And gone, right, how are you doing? Well, we were in this league last season and we're here. Well, we just come up from this league, so we're here. It's like they're all like having a get together going, so what went wrong?
Yeah, I can think of better places to be having a reunion than League One.
Yeah.
But Sunderland, great start. I believe they're 2 for 2 now.
Yeah, they are.
Something that I didn't expect with losing Charlie Wyke. I think his goals, I thought were gonna be a big loss for Sunderland, but they've clearly recovered very quickly from his departure. And like you say, they were bossed for the majority of this game. The stats show possession, shots on target, everything's in Mkdon's favour. But when the opportunities came Sunderland's way, they had that little bit of quality to finish them off. I think the first goal was fairly soft. And then the second one, the Mkdon's back line are all stood with their arms up thinking it's offside, but it's definitely played on. In my opinion.
Mkdon's, considering they just lost the manager and they're getting used to a new manager and getting that done quite quickly, and they're still bossing games. I think if they can get the going properly and taking these chances, granted 17 out of 8, they've got the shots on target, but they're not taking them.
Yeah, they need to convert them, don't they? But yeah, so not a bad weekend for Sunderland. Mkdon's work to do, but the new gaffer should hopefully get them ticking over very nicely over the next couple of weeks. On to Cheltenham versus Wickham. So Wickham, what's your thoughts on them?
Oh, that 19-year-old just... How do you not defend him after he's done the same thing once and does it again? Same position and just takes it.
Yeah, and just outside the box, wasn't it? Where he's come down and he's just hit the shot nice, hard and low.
Identical. And Sam Vokes for Wickham is such a good signing.
Yeah.
He got experience. I think he's one of the players who just wanted to go and play football, and he's doing that. Cheltenham, they look okay. I don't think they're going to go down. I think they're going to hold their own in this league. Yeah,
I think there's worse teams in the league than Cheltenham. Andy Williams, ex-Donny Rovers, once again, so many ex-Rovers players scoring this weekend. It's hard to say, but a fantastic header from him. And yeah, there's a couple of players at Cheltenham who are ex-Rovers, so I'm hoping that they do okay this season.
But that game was all about that 19-year-old.
Yeah, Pendlebury.
The fact that it's 74 and 79th minute, you'd not had long to just have it out your memory. So same thing.
Yeah, you'd like to think that professional footballers would be able to learn quickly and stop that from happening again. But
this was a game and a half.
Saying that, Charlie White scored 3 headers against us last season.
Did he?
Yeah. McGeady, Charlie White, that was it. So on to the biggest scoreline of the weekend. It was another 3-3 draw for Bolton. It happened in the first game of the season, and they've done it again against AFC Wimbledon, who beat us 2-1 in the first game. So they look a decent team, AFC Wimbledon. I think I've underestimated them once again. Nightingale, Presley, and Mabude.
I don't know why I'm trying to say names. I'm terrible.
But yeah, Bolton.
2 penalties. Clumsy of well again.
Yeah, I think both of those were definite penalties once again. But yeah, Bolton 3-1 up, and they've let it slip with 2 goals in the space of a minute.
Yeah, it's just concentration and lack of getting back and figuring it out. And they're going to really want to sort that back line out, because you can't have 2 games start of the season and concede 6.
No.
It's not.
No,
it's
far
not
too leaky.
It's great to watch if you're neutral. But if you're a fan of Bolton right now, you're like, we've got to be able to defend that league. And I don't think it's going to be a step up too far kind of thing. I just think it's them getting used to a new thing. And there's a lot of optimism going at Bolton at the minute, which is good to see. It's just having to manage their expectations and know they may struggle. It's not going to be as free-form football like they had in League Two.
Yeah, I think a few Bolton fans are expecting top 6, but I've got them down as kind of a consolidation season and building next year. I think there will be a force next year, but looking at the 2 opening games, like you say, far too leaky at the back. That needs sorting if they're going to win more games than what the draw will lose. But
fair play to AFC Wimbledon losing Piggott and the still managing to go. So
still banging goals in.
Yeah.
The commitment and the desire for their equaliser, though, was fantastic. If you've not seen it yet,
please
do, because that was desire and commitment at its finest. On to Burton. This was a bit of a surprise result for me. Beating Ipswich 2-1. Ipswich recruited very well this season, but is it a case of it's just going to be a bit of time to gel?
To be fair, I had a little bit of a giggle when I saw the penalty. Matt Penny got that in his locker. He's had it a bit when he's been at Wednesday at times. He's a good player, don't get me wrong. He's a good player, but he's clumsy. I don't think he's a left back. I think he's more of a left midfielder, but it was a good game. It was a very good game, but Ipswich are not there yet. They're not there yet. And they're going to either be a team that recruit really well and it don't come off until next season, or they're going to be a team that recruited really well and they're going to do a late playoff push in January.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of players to bed in, get sorted, get the money. And it's not like they've brought them in early, like a lot of clubs have. They have brought a lot of these in late. And if you bring them in late, you can't have that full pre-season to get them in. And what have they got?
No, they're playing catch-up.
Is it 13, 14 players they've got in now?
Something like that, yeah. It's
something different. I keep seeing Twitter. It's like, Ipswich got another player. And the thing is, people keep going, oh, they're spending. They're not. They're getting them on freeze.
Yeah.
They're not spending that much. Some very good players,
though. Some very good players that they've recruited. So I'm expecting them to pick up over the next couple of weeks for sure. But we've talked about kind of conversion rates and stuff like that. Look at that for Burton. 11 shots, 2 on target, 2 finishes. What more do you want?
It's basic. That is literally the game of FIFA where you play the opposition. It's like, well, I've had about 16 shots and 15 have been on target, and they just convert that.
Yeah, that's a control breaker, isn't it?
Yeah.
Couple more games to go through. We're coming up on the half an hour mark, so we're not far off finishing. 3 games to go. Accrington Stanley against Cambridge. Cambridge.
Balance on that.
Yeah, fairly balanced game. A great finish from Matt Butcher on the half volley. It kind of fell a little bit behind him, and he's managed to kind of pull his leg back. And I don't know how he's done it. He's defied physics. I think
magic. That would leave it magic.
Fantastic goal to get them going. Stooping header for the second, and then Cambridge, big error from the Accrington Stanley goalie. It's slipped through his legs. You see it so many times where they go down to collect it and it's just squirmed underneath him and over the line.
I don't know where Cambridge are going to get the goal from. Losing Paul Millen, and especially to a non-league club,
crazy,
is insane. I understand the reasoning behind it. I understand wanting to build something, but surely you just come up with Cambridge. You want to test yourself at the highest level, push on and go for it. So he got to either had a lot of money in or they've managed to sell him on it. But their goals from last season, they're going to struggle if they don't find a replacement.
Yeah. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. If they don't sign a replacement, I think they will be in a relegation battle.
Yeah.
On to Oxford against Charlton. So this was one of those games where it's very tough to call. But both teams I expect to be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. And Oxford just edged this one. And in my preview, I said that Oxford, for me, their final position will be determined by how they perform in games like this, the big games where last season they struggled to get the result. They either finished a draw or getting beat by teams that you'd expect in and around them. And by the looks of things, they are starting to fix that. They're starting to turn that corner by getting a hard-fought 2-1 win over Charlton. Once again, stats very even, but just edging it on the day.
Tyler said, if you haven't seen bits and pieces on Twitter, he basically turned around and said they need more players. They haven't got the squad depth right now, and it's starting to seem a little bit of a trend that I see from a lot of teams. They haven't got the players yet for this league, and it's either going to be a mad rush of players right near the end in the loan market, or you're just going to have teams that are going to have to rely on their youth academy and hope that they come good.
Yeah, I think the pandemic has
really
caused a lot of this.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of players who normally would get teams straight away, but not willing to take a pay cut or take a step down to get. They're still thinking it 2019, 2018 season.
Yeah.
If you're a Premiership football and you're a free agent now, you have to not think about what your old price was or your old wages were. You have to be realistic. It's like there's a lot of people in the country right now who are being realistic with their jobs.
Yeah.
And you have to do the same.
Definitely. I agree with that. And on to the final game of the weekend, Wigan versus Rotherham. And what I've seen on social media, it's a very similar story for Rotherham from last season. Plenty of chances, but not enough on target, not enough quality to convert them. And then punished with the heartbreaker on the 95th minute with a Will Keane header. Beautiful ball in from the left-hand side, and he's just managed to get in front of the keeper and beat him to the ball.
I know about heartache against Rotherham in the 96th minute, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm on that one as well, mate. We've had it as well. Hopefully we don't get it next week or the week after.
Yeah.
But, I think Wigan, one of those teams that have recruited very well as well, looking to gel quickly and see.
They're looking solid. I like Wigan to have a season where they can enjoy it, because I don't think they enjoyed it last season, because everything was so up in the air. And if they can get a season where fans are enjoying it, brilliant. And I'm in that whole situation with football at the minute where I'm so happy that fans are back and everything's going right. And it's just managing your expectations now. Just remember, you have to start it like you've never been to football again, in a sense, because you've not seen it for like 18 months.
You know what? It was so nice just to kind of have that release for a couple of hours, even though the result wasn't there, just to have that release to get away from kind of the mundane 9 to 5 or whatever it is that we do, just to have that weekend release, that Saturday with people that you don't even know, but you feel like you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Very, very, very nice. So we'll quickly skirt over this because it's only 2 games in and the table means absolutely nothing at this stage.
Doesn't mean nothing till Christmas.
But it's not looking great for Donny Rovers, Shrewsbury or Fleetwood, the 3 teams yet to be off the mark in League One. Hopefully we change that on Tuesday against Accrington Stanley. It'll come good, Donny fans, don't worry. We'll be fine. And then going up the table, through in 21st, Cheltenham, Gillingham, Charlton, they won't be there for very long. Cambridge, Ipswich, Mkdons, Bolton and Plymouth make up the bottom half of the table. And then into the top half, we've got Wigan in 12th, Accrington Stanley in 11th, Rotherham, Oxford, Lincoln, AFC Wimbledon at the dizzy heights of 7th, Sheffield Wednesday starting at the bottom of the playoffs. Happy with that so far?
Yeah, very happy with that. Something I've got on predicted to be mid-table this season.
Definitely. And the surprise one in the playoffs at the minute has to be Morecambe. But as we say, they've just hit teams. They've just gone at them, which will serve them well this season. Burton in fourth, Sunderland in third, Pompey and Wickham second and first. And there's 4 teams on a 100% record at the minute: Wickham, Portsmouth, Sunderland and Burton. If any of them are going to continue their 100%, which one would you go for?
I'd probably go with Wickham.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Wickham, potentially Portsmouth, they're looking pretty decent at the minute as well.
The thing is, I don't see Rotherham doing their yo-yo this year. I think they're going to struggle to go back up because there's a lot of decent teams in this year.
Yeah, definitely. It's tough division. Some very big teams in there.
You really can't call this league.
Yeah, and like you say, the league table won't really make much difference up until about Christmas.
Yeah.
So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for joining me. Been a pleasure. I think it's been a lot better kind of having this as a conversation more than just me talking. So thank you very much for joining in. If you've not subscribed to Punk Chef, his link will be in the description down below. Head over, check his channel out and sub if you haven't already. And that is it for this week. We will be back at 6:30 next Sunday, where we'll have a bit of a double header because there's Tuesday nights and Saturday games.
Yeah.
So
I'm intrigued to what the Tuesday night games are going to be like, because I think it can be interesting for fans on that one because they've not been able to do the Saturday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I think for players, with how many teams that haven't got that squad depth yet, you're either going to see a lot of injuries come really quick and people panicking, or you're going to see teams that are just going to got the squad depth and just roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the teams with the squad depth, they'll just have that advantage. They'll be fitter, stronger, and potentially steamroll some other teams who have not got that squad depth. So League One is definitely one to keep an eye on this season for sure.
Yeah, it's. I think it's going to be one of the most exciting leagues, because looking at what I've seen in Championship, it doesn't fill me with the kind of anticipation that I normally have with Championship. It looks a bit. You can see who's going to go up and you can see who's going to go down. So I think League One might take that mantle this year, the one to watch.
League One is where it's at, guys. Stick with us.
Yeah.
So that is it for this one. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed it, big thumbs up, comments in the section down below if you're watching this on repeat. Subscribe to myself or Punk Chef if you haven't already. As always, thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one.
See ya.